Hello. Okay. Well, Sean, looks like just me and you for now. But anyway, and actually, this is kind of up your alley a little bit. Um, talk a little bit today, and this is not really in the class itself, but just some of the stuff about basically on student counseling, and that if you need help, they do have they do have uh, counseling available to students, and it's all, as you can imagine, it's all virtual now because no one's going to meet in person. But it is available. It's part of your your tuition and all that kind of stuff that's given to you when you come here to school. So it's available, and you might say, well, where is it? And that's what we'll go to next. I sent a handout. Let me see if I can. So this is the handout. So you go to the Roosevelt homepage, click on menu, current, health and wellness, and then virtual care group. So this is kind of your link to it. There's also phone numbers and stuff there that I'll show you in a second. But it is available, and it can be very very helpful. Let's go ahead and take a look at it, and then we'll stop sharing. Oops, wrong thing. So this is the home screen. You click on the little menu icon over here. Go to current student. Click on that. Support services, health and wellness. You get something that looks like this. And here's some phone numbers. Here's the director, and you can call to. I would probably try emailing for a second. I'm not sure if they'd be there. They might be on campus. But anyway, you can actually call and or send an email. And there's other stuff here too, resources. There's mental health screening, which is a little bit different than getting therapy, emergency food. So anyway, there's a lot of stuff in here. But the one that we're going to focus on is the Seek Care Now. And that, especially nowadays with, with the COVID, the environment, the social unrest and everything else, it would be odd if you didn't have to, if you weren't in line to get some therapy. I go to therapy myself, so I'm telling you from experience. So this is how it works, and they'll walk you through it. And again, it's going to be online, which is basically all therapy right now is pretty much online. But so this is again, it's free to you. I'm not sure how many sessions in that, but I think that it's quite a few, I believe. But anyway, this stuff really helps, and you'd be surprised at the difference it can make. I know that you're smart, you know everything, you know what's going on in the world, you know what's going on with yourself and all this stuff, but at the same time, it really helps to talk to somebody. And again, it's all virtual now. You don't even have to leave your house, and you can get it. So this is a very useful thing to have, that you can log into that and take advantage of it. At worst, it won't help, but it certainly can, and it certainly does for an awful lot of people, including myself. So, and I'll tell you one other thing. This is just, I think I told this before. I'm not ashamed of telling boring old stories twice, but my wife was an English teacher, and she kept having students come up to her after class and talking about real serious things in their lives. And she said, well, these people, they don't need to learn English. They need counseling. And so that's why she wanted to be a counselor. So she's a therapist now. She has her own business, but it's it's important. The stuff really, to some extent, is more important than anything else. It doesn't matter how successful you are if you're having serious problems with the person. So anyway, it's available to everyone, and to get in, you just go to menu, click on current. This is future students, and the reason I say that is because the student services they have here aren't going to have any links in it because you're not a student yet. So this is for the current students. You can click on that. So make sure you don't, you're not a future student, and then health and wellness. And again, here's that virtual, and it's a good thing to do. It definitely helps. So, any questions on that? Probably not. Sean, you're going into it. Sean already knows this. All right. So anyway, so that is the basically. And again, a lot of times, I'll tell you why I'm bringing this up too, is that a lot of times in your reflective journals, a lot of students have said, look, this is the worst time of my life. This is horrible. Everything's going wrong, and that's the time you need it the most. And even though you're smart, you got what's going on. You're going through college. You're on the ball and all that kind of stuff. It's still can be extremely helpful to talk to somebody about it, somebody who knows what they're doing. So I would strongly encourage you, and you don't have to be in crisis either. It could just be you want to talk to somebody about stuff. Everybody has stuff going on in their lives at any given point in time. So anyway, I would strongly encourage you to seek that out. Okay, the second thing on the agenda, which I have to do something here, and that is grad school. And the reason I bring this up is not because it's part of the class, but because I can't figure out what I'm doing on the screen here. I bring it up because actually especially for the economy now, even though it's related to COVID and all that kind of stuff, the real thing is the economy. And you may want to consider going to grad school. And the reason being is that, well, first of all, if you do get a job as a good, entry-level career path kind of job, take it. Absolutely take it. Don't think about it, because you're going to get experience. And that's the most important thing. And you can go to grad school later. However, in this tough economy, it's going to be even more tough to land that first job. It's tough anyways, but it's going to be even more tough now that the economy is not so good. Depending on what you're in, if you're in healthcare, you'll probably get bombarded with offers. But for most people, it's going to be pretty tough to get that first job. So you, instead of being out there trying to get your first job that may not even exist, it's not a bad idea sometimes to think about enrolling in a graduate program. And especially if you're thinking about going to grad school anyways at some point, because again, if the economy is really bad, beating your head against the wall trying to get a job in an economy for a job that doesn't exist is not going to really do much. So what you may want to do is go to grad school, start a grad school program, and the economy will turn around. I don't think there's any doubt that it will. It's just a matter of time. So while you're biding your time, waiting for the economy to turn around, not a bad idea to go to grad school, and you may very well come out with a graduate degree when the economy is picking up, which is ideal. So if you don't get that first job, you may want to consider, I know after going through 4 or whatever years of school, you may, oh man, the last thing I want to do is get more school, but it's not a bad idea. And I can tell you something else too about the graduate schools, and that is, at least when I went through graduate school, and I've also been in a graduate program, teaching a graduate program at Robert Morris for years, that it's grad school for me was a lot better than undergrad. The people were serious. You could talk to everybody. The people in the class, they all kind of were in the same boat, so they all kind of jumped in. You know, classes were difficult, but we had a real camaraderie that we didn't have when we were bachelors in the bachelor's program. So I can tell you that it's generally easier to go to grad school than it is undergrad. It just is. And the teachers, instructors, although they shouldn't do this, a lot of times they treat you differently. I don't, but I mean, it is a strange thing that, like, when you're undergrad, you're considered a nuisance to some, to some professors. And when you're a graduate student, well, hey, you're one of us, and now it's different. So sometimes you run into that situation too. So anyway, I would encourage you to at least think about going to graduate school. You can go to graduate if we have a program at Roosevelt. Sometimes it's not a bad idea to go to the same school that to get your graduate program that you get your undergrad in, just because you generally have to make up fewer classes, or if any classes. And you know, that's the only, and you know, you can go to any grad school. I'm not pushing for Roosevelt, but a lot of times when you go into the same school, you have a better luck with making up classes. When I got my undergrad at Illinois State, and I was going to the master's program there, and I was really worried about passing. They had a GMAT. I don't know if they have those anymore. They had a GMAT test. They may have a GMAT still. But anyway, they had a GMAT test that they had to take, and I was real nervous about it. So I studied like crazy for this GMAT. And I did pretty well on it. Well, I got this offer to go to Northwestern for my graduate program. Wow, Northwestern, that's pretty, who would have thought, that I would get in it? Well, as I started looking into it, it would have taken me at least another extra year to go there. And, quite honestly, I really had it all kind of all set up to go to Illinois State in the way, to get out and get my CPA and get all that kind of stuff going. So I decided to go to stay at Illinois State just because it took it would have taken an extra year at Northwestern. A rational person could have decided the other way, but for me, it was, that Illinois State had a pretty good reputation, and I was going to stay with them. So anyway, my point being is that sometimes you may want to stay in the same program because a lot of times it'll fold right in. That, hey, if you graduate in our undergrad program, open arms into the graduate program. That you don't lose credits and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, whatever graduate school you're thinking of going to, it may not be a bad idea. And now applying to the graduate school is similar to applying to a job. Maybe not quite as strenuous, but they actually, you have to get recommendations and all that kind of stuff. Feel free to use me for recommendation. So it should be at least an option for you. Now, again, if you get a decent job offer, take it. Get the experience. You can go to graduate school later. The experience is also very, very good. So if you do get a job offer that's a decent job offer, I would say take it. But if you don't, seriously consider going to graduate school, especially if you were going to consider going to it anyways, just because the economy is so bad. And another thing that happened with me is the economy was pretty bad when I graduated my bachelor's degree. I was going to go to grad school anyways, but there was actually a pretty good jump of people that went on into the graduate program. So, it was very much it's not a bad thing to do whenever the economy's bad. That, instead of beating your head against the wall trying to make something, make a job that isn't there, to go ahead and improve yourself so that when those jobs are available, you would, move to the head of the line. You have a graduate degree where other people may not. But, any questions?
Yeah, Professor, I have a question.
Yeah.
So you're saying that if we were to apply to like Northwestern University, which is actually the school I was thinking about applying to for my graduate program, there would be a chance that we would have to take extra classes because some of the classes from Roosevelt wouldn't transfer over, is what you're saying?
Yeah, it could be. It could certainly be. And it's not just that they won't transfer. I mean, they may have completely different classes. Like for instance, when I was going from one to the other, they had accounting classes that were not like we had at Illinois State. So I had made up some of these accounting classes, and they also had a few gen ed classes. Now I don't know what it is like now. To be honest with you, I'm talking about 1990, so this is ancient history. But
It's still the same. As I said, I just transferred. I transferred a bunch of credits into Robert Morris before we merged, and even there, they weren't the same. I had a ton of credits that I'd earned previously, and then a bunch I'd earned in the Navy, and then only like a third were applicable and transferred. So even though your universities are still accredited, it doesn't mean that they follow the exact same guidelines on classes.
Yeah, they're not
I
standardized.
had to argue with Loyola over my English class.
Because sometimes it even has the same name, like the classes have the same name, but you look at like what you studied in it, and it's like, oh, well, that doesn't match up.
Yeah, and I know that there's some schools too that they want to see our, they would always want to, if we had students transfer out, they want to know what, what is what was the syllabus for accounting 300 or whatever it was. Because then they would look at it and go, oh, well, you don't have, whatever it was that they had in there. So yeah, it can be pretty tricky doing it. And yeah, the accreditation is it's a little bit archaic, but the accreditations, part of their thing is academic freedom in designing the programs. Now they'll want to have certain things in there, but yeah, you'd be surprised. Like some schools, they'll have this standard course on ethics or on social something, or so they'll have all these different things that you may not have in a regular, well, I shouldn't say in a regular, but in your program, you may not have it. Or you may have those things in your program and you go to another school and they say, well, we can't put those anywhere. You're missing them. Anyway, the point being is a lot of times you'll find that. And that's not that uncommon to have. The private schools in general are a little bit worse at transferring those credits, but there's a lot of them that even the state schools are a little bit more difficult.
All right, appreciate it.
Yeah.
And state schools in the same state will also have a higher chance of taking it up. So as long as you're not going from Illinois State to like Washington State, because you've got the same accreditation board in the state, so your classes will look a lot alike. So there shouldn't be as big a deal going from here to another Illinois school, but going outside the state, then you'll get some weirdness.
Yeah, and two, you got to remember too, it's one of those things that familiarity, that you see a lot more people coming from, say, a school in Illinois to another school in Illinois, from Illinois, University of Illinois to Roosevelt. It happens all the time. Newborn baby happens every day. But when you start getting out there, where it's less and less interaction, they don't even know what the program is. And if you came from Washington over to, we wouldn't even know what those classes are. So yeah, it can be tricky transferring classes. Again, some schools are better than others. Some, and part of that whole accreditation thing is that schools are given more leeway. That the faculty and so forth are given leeway in how they run the schools and how they match up the hours coming in and all that kind of stuff. It can be very. I sat on boards where we did this, where they had people coming from one school to another, and they just said, "Okay, well, what about this class?" And, well, I don't know. This class is kind of like, well, we have this class is half of this class we have and half of the other class we have, but I don't know, so sometimes it's hard to match up just because even if it's a similar material, it's the format of it. And so when someone may have a class, their 3 classes are equal to our 3 classes, but they're not, none of those classes are similar, are the same, I should say. It's a very tricky thing. It probably wouldn't be a bad idea to try to standardize some of these, but at the same time, the accreditation people, they don't like that. They don't. They want people to have academic freedom to advance their areas of expertise and all that kind of stuff. So part of that accreditation is that they have the freedom to say, okay, we want you to have this class or that class or whatever, and that's all part of it. It is frustrating though. It wouldn't be a bad idea to at least have core classes that are transferable in some of the more basic things.
Yeah, I feel like that would make things a lot smoother.
Yeah, well, we ran into that too in accounting. We had a CPA exam. Every state used to have their own rules, and so if you wanted to practice being a CPA in Wisconsin, you had to have a master's degree. If you want to do it in California, you just needed a bachelor's degree. If you didn't wanted to do it, it was almost impossible to get into Florida, because Florida, everyone retires in Florida, and they don't want to have a bunch of CPAs retire down in Florida and open up a shop. And they would have a zillion CPAs working. So all these different rules. They kind of worked that out though, and they pretty much got every state to agree to a standardized system, which quite honestly I thought would never happen. But it can happen. At least there should be at least something to do. But yeah, it is kind of a pain, and it's really not fair. Quite honestly, it's not fair to have someone go through and work hard at whatever these classes are, and then as you go to the next school and they say, well, no, we don't have anything like that, so you got to start over. I also asked a weird one when I came from a junior college. I was in a business program. In the business program, if I went through the business program, I would automatically be taken into Illinois State. Well, this is great. Well, the quarter before I graduate, I opened up the mailbox and I got a degree, and it's an associate's degree. I never applied for it. I never did anything with it. But because I met the requirements of an associate's degree that wasn't the business program, at that point I would have had to take another year to get stuff for the business program free, and then go down to Illinois State. So I thought, fine, I'll go down to Illinois State and take a bunch of remedial classes again. But so it was kind of weird in that I was actually in a program, but they had some rule that when you meet the requirements of an associate degree, that you automatically get that associate's degree. Very strange, a very strange thing, and it was very frustrating for me to, have one more semester, and I could have gone and not taken any additional classes, but because I graduated, and it literally came in the mail. I thought it was a mistake. What is this? I didn't graduate yet. But anyway, more of my troubles. Yeah. So anyway, anything else you guys want to talk about? I don't know if you want to, this is kind of a open one. So if you have any questions on any of the material in the class or anything. So Louis, what are you going into at Northwestern?
I was looking about getting into my MBA.
Oh, good, very good. Yeah, those are good schools. Getting into a lot of those upper level MBA programs can open up a lot of doors. There are a lot of good jobs, good positions, good companies that will hire mostly out of a handful of schools. And so a lot of times, you go to a business with it, the upper people are all from Northwestern, and they only take people from Northwestern. It's what they are. So you run into that. It's almost kind of cliquey. and especially for MBA programs, for consulting, for financial program, finance kind of stuff like consulting. Northwestern is definitely a good school to go to.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in MBA. I was also interested in finance. I'm getting to the point, yeah, this is also my last class as I graduate after this. So I'm just have a lot of options I've been looking at. So yeah, it's pretty overwhelming at sometimes, but definitely excited.
Yeah. And like I say, it wasn't that easy of a decision for me not to go there. I mean, I kind of came out of the finance area, so it was, I knew that would open up a lot of doors. And it just happened to be that I wanted to be in the accounting program at Illinois State, and that I would get out a year earlier, which I know sounds silly now, but you can't be young and wise at the same time. So that's not true. But anything else? All right, well, if you guys have anything else you want to go over, that's fine. And you can email me, and we can set up a time too if you don't like private, just to go over stuff in class or whatever. I've already done several of them with other students in this quarter, so feel free to do it. We can probably work out sometime. Questions? Okay. Well, if you have any, yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Professor. I was just wondering if you could give me a brief description about the assignment that's due tomorrow. I think it's like the last assignment for the class.
Oh, well, there's a reflective question, and there's also the one we did last week. I'm drawing a blank on it. Let's see here. The personal marketing advertisement thing.
Yeah, personal marketing as advertising files. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it shouldn't say files, by the way. It's generally it's one document. Excuse me. The reason it says files, I'll give you this short background. The reason it says files, in the past they would link them using Google Docs, and so they put a little hyperlink, and you'd click on that, and your document would show up. Quite honestly, it would get goofed up a lot. So anyway, it should just be one file. It should be just one document. And so I should take that off. There's a file, because it really is just one document, and it should be a self-contained document is what I would encourage people to use, and that it would be that you could actually put it in and convert it into a PDF file. You can save Word documents into PDF files. You probably already know that, but let me just see here. Share screen. So if I wanted to, you can save this, save as. And the nice thing about putting it into a PDF document, PDF. The nice thing about putting it into a PDF document is you know exactly how it's going to look. Sometimes Word, we have weird formatting and stuff, but if it's a PDF file, it's going to, I already have one, but if it's a PDF file, it'll immediately, you know immediately what it's going to look like. And so when you give it to somebody, they will, once it's in the PDF format, it's in stone. So whatever shows up will show up. So, and then here's the point why I'm talking about that is that, messages here. You want this to look good so that they can actually, so that someone can actually pull it up and be impressed with your work. And if they pull it up, they click on things, the links don't work, all that kind of stuff, it's not going to look good. So I would encourage people to put it all in one document, and that's what I, pretty much have told people here. I sent it out last week, the personal marketing statement, advertisement blank.
So it should be in my email.
Should be in your email. It's also in the files near the bottom, and you go into the class. Yeah, so if you go into the classroom, I think maybe when you first open it up, there's going to be links. Let me do something. So whenever you get into it'll be the links, and I think it's near to the bottom. Personal portfolio, personal marketing blank. You can get it in Word or in PDF. The Word probably is one you want to use. Likely.
Okay.
So, yeah, if you click on that, it should be there. Yeah, it's also in your email, but either way. And let me just pull it up here. Oops. Yeah, so this is what it should look like. And basically this is kind of put in there, kind of, it's sort of a fill in the blank thing. And again, this is, this is what I should put this as, it says files, it should just be one file.
All right.
Yeah. But anyway, you just kind of fill in the blank, and this is kind of just basic stuff when you're graduating, all that stuff. Current job if you're working in the field usually. So this is where you've been, and kind of this is so what it comes down to is this is the basic information. This is sort of stuff that you would see on your resume. Your resume usually is kind of past tense. The stuff that you've done, and this will be sort of that sort of thing. And this is the real advertising part down here. And again, it's not due to, it's not there for, the thing about personal advertising statement is your customer is the employer. So you are advertising not about yourself, but to the employer. Why hiring you would be a good idea. And so you're basically going to look at the
some hair thing.
So you basically do is
No problemo.
take those words from your job deconstruction, and from the job deconstruction, you're going to use those as your sort of like your cover letter. So this would be similar to a cover letter that will have you'll have those keywords in there that the employer is looking at. So the employer, if you go through the employer jobs and they're looking for team leaders, put team leader in there. If they're looking for someone who's good at communication skills, put communication skills in there. Somehow work those into it. So it really is. It's an advertisement. It's a branding, but it's also directed towards the employer. It's not about you so much as it is about filling the needs of the employer, and however you put that in there. And anything you put in there, generally you're going to. There's nothing wrong with putting in things like that you played hockey or something. I played hockey in high school and college, and I was a captain of the team, whatever. They're not really looking for hockey players, most likely, unless they're a hockey team. But generally speaking, they're not going to be looking for. But you're going to translate that into the skills. As being a captain on a hockey team, I learned how to be a team player. I learned how to be a leader on the team, and so on and so forth. So you are going to use that as a way of putting in those key terms that of what they're looking for when they advertise for the job. So these are all kind of those, whatever they are. I mean, I just put these in there as examples, but whatever they are, those are what you're going to put into that advertisement. And that's basically, it's very similar to your cover letter. I mean, the cover letter is a little bit different. They have the intro paragraph will be this up here, and you're probably not going to have too much of this in there, but this is, it's kind of targeting your whatever that they are looking for.
All right. Professor, but also I seen response on one of my assignments.
Yeah.
About you basically asked me if I wanted to redo the cover letter.
Yeah.
I sent you an email a while back. I don't know if you checked it, but do you want me to just like resubmit it again? Or like with this updated
you can
version?
resubmit on unlimited. You can do it on unlimited submittals. I have it on there for unlimited for all the assignments. So in other words, yeah, you can submit it again. You can also email it to me. Did you email it to me already?
Yes, I did.
Okay, I'll find it. I'll find it. I'll put it.
Okay. Well, this probably be my last assignment anyway because I've done everything else. But
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
Thanks.
good having you. All right.
Wait, so this is our last class?
I'll be around next week too. I think next week is our last week, and I'll be around for any questions people have. I usually become very popular. Next week I'll be popular. People haven't seen in months. I'll see 3 times in a day, but that's just the way it works.
Alrighty.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Okay. Any other questions? Anything?
Oh, my only question was, hi, this is Maria, by the way, Maria Garcia. I only had a question because I submitted my interview acquisition.
And just missed everything.
Huh?
So you submitted your interview.
Oh, yeah. And I also submitted, what was the other one? My portfolio. And I just wanted to see what grade I had so I can get a chance to redo it if I have to. By when do you think you'll be able to look it over?
I will look over that when we sign off here. Let me take a look here.
Okay, that'd be great. Thanks. Because I know I wasn't too sure about the portfolio, but I think the interview acquisition thing was good.
Yeah, I'll definitely look into that. Yeah, I see the other 2 there, right? Okay.
Okay, and then I'll get started on the rest of the things I'm missing tonight. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay. Thanks.
Bye.
Anyone else? Questions?
I have questions. I just
Yeah.
missed everything. I just logged on here super late.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to tell you that I did submit some of the assignments that I was missing. I don't know if it told you. Did it tell you? Did it notify you?
I'll take a look in there. Let me see here.
I'll send an email of what I sent, but I'm just like really confused about those. I wanted to ask you maybe outside of class, or now if this
No,
same question as
anyway.
everyone else. But I don't know about so like the profession portfolio, is that the same thing as the target job deconstruction assignment?
No, the target job deconstruction is really just to get keywords. Now you're going to use those keywords in all your stuff. So,
Okay.
your cover letter and all that kind of stuff. But the professional portfolio is basically your cover letter, resume, and references, like everyone's done pretty much, and then also put in a personal statement, and you can also put in also put things of your examples of your work is not a bad thing to put in there also.
Okay.
So the big thing is the personal mission statement, which is generally more involved than the cover letter is very short usually. 3 paragraphs. So the professional, the personal mission statement is a little more involved. It's give the employers a little more information about your background, what motivates you, and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay. So I think well then I uploaded a personal introduction with my target deconstruction assignment. So maybe I should just switch it. But it's saying to upload a link. So where do how would I put it on
I'm
the
sorry.
link?
Yeah, forget about the link thing.
Okay.
That
So
was
I can send it to you in your
Google.
email?
I'm sorry?
Can I send it to you in your email, or should I just upload it on there?
Either way.
Okay.
Either way.
Okay, I'll have that to you tonight. I think I have everything that needs to be done that's past due, except for the reflection journal number 2, which I will have before the end of the week.
No problem. No problem.
Thank you so much.
Anything else? Okay. Well, and if you guys, if you have any, if you want to, you know, I can set up meetings to meet with people individually too. So, and don't feel, you know, but I don't do a whole heck of a lot right now. So, you know, you get a little busy next week, but you know, if you have any questions or anything, you want to set up a meeting, that's absolutely fine. Don't be shy. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I'll let you go enjoy your stay in place, like we're all going through. All right. Talk to you later.
Have a good one.
I will. You too.
Stay safe.
All right. Well, that's right. You too.